on Simo and Goss for breakfast. Coach's Call.
Let's take a look at the coach's call of the two preliminary finals thanks to Hungry Jack's. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's, and it was on Friday night. Geelong 17-13, 115, too good for the Hawks, 13-7, 85. And it was a game dominated by the old and the new. Bailey Smith, of course, he's not young, but he's certainly young in regards to footy years, and Patrick Dangerfield. And the Hawks, they had their moments, in particular early, Simo.
They did, and I mean, the problem for Hawthorn early, they looked dangerous, didn't they? But they were scoring from the back half, which in the modern game, in big games, in finals, it's hard to do that, get through 18 defenders. So you really want to get a front half game. So you remember the first 2 or 3 goals Hawthorn kicked? They were lowering their eyes and changing angles, and the Geelong defenders were folding back a little bit. That's a pretty easy fix if you're Geelong. If you're the coach's box, you sort of go, hey, listen, they're low on their eyes, just squeeze up, take away this uncontested stuff. So they would have corrected that almost before quarter time. So that being an average of scoring dried up really quick. And then the other piece, mate, was the stoppages, in particular centre bounces. They lost the clearances by 15 in the centre bounce. And if you do that on the big day and a big stage, you got to have all your parts of your game in order. And when you fail to get that right, so in the end, Geelong kicked 11 goals, 6 from stoppages, to 7 goals 2, which doesn't sound like a massive difference, but it's pretty big. And then danger. It was like, pull the cord, put the cape on, whatever you want to do. And he's got this intensity about him. I can't find where I heard it. I think it was another radio station. They interviewed Cameron after the game, and they said, oh, Dangerfield. And he's gone, yeah, this is Jeremy Cameron. He goes, I tried to talk to him 5 times during the game, because he knocked him over a few times. And he said he was looking through me like I didn't exist. He was that dialed into the game. He did not hear a word I said. So the old shark eye roll. Normally shark eyes is you don't know what's going on. He was that zoned into what was next and his performance. And it's a great lesson. So that's something that Harley Reid should grab, because if you get that dialed in to Hunt, it's not the first one, it's not the second one, it's the third time you just stick your head over the ball. So unique quality.
Is he the toughest player going around? Not toughest as in overtly physical, but he's just approach on every contest. He does
tenacious. It's like he's got to actually run through someone's legs to get the ball, and somehow he does. It's like, where did that leg go? He went straight through it. He was scoop it in one hand and handball it out, or just get a surge kick 15 metres. So those type of things, I think you just can't do it every week, not when you're 35 or 36 years old. So I can't say Geelong planned this, that I will just bring him out on prelim. I think Danger's gone, right, it's time to just roll these eyes back in the back of my head. And really interesting that Cameron just couldn't communicate because he was that zoned in.
Inside 50s, so Geelong had 66, which is 10 above season average, and Hawthorn had 40, which was 13 below season average.
Yeah, and it come from stoppages, mate. Yeah, I don't have inside 50s from stoppages, but the turnover game, they kicked 6 goals 7 to 6 goals 4, so that was pretty even. So everything come from field position. So centre bounces, Geelong only kicked 1 goal 4 from centre bounces, so it wasn't disastrous, but the field position from there just allowed Geelong to squeeze in behind those entries, and yeah, it was just a front half dominance in the second half.
I didn't think we lost the game from mentality. I don't think it was a mental loss. I think we handled their pressure, we handled their moments really well. Sometimes they were just a bit too good. I'm certainly ready for Dangerfield to retire. We just had no answers for a couple of things, but it wasn't a mental skills thing. It was just not being quite good enough on the day.
I don't want to pretend that we just wrap him in cotton wool until this time of year, but he was born to play at this time of year, and I hope it continues for a long, long time. He wasn't the only one, but when we're under pressure, I just thought he was so influential.
Just to finish off on Danger, 31 possessions, 9 inside 50s, 20 contested possessions, 13 score involvements, 8 clearances and 564 metres gained. So one of the all-time greatest performances.
Yeah, incredible. Now, question be asked, can he back it up?
He can. The other question, who plays on him? So Dunkley's probably the one, isn't he, that would be a good matchup when he's around the ball. So I did dig into the centre bounces a little bit last night, just going, okay, what did they do, to get away from Newcombe? So it's pretty much 3 one-on-ones in the centre bounce. And I reckon they just try to hit it away from Newcombe and let the other second-tier Hawthorn players deal with people like Danger and Holmes and these guys. So Atkins was part of the solution as well.
So Geelong's 3 negating players, for the want of a better word, are Mullen,
Yep.
O'Connor and Atkins.
Yes.
A lot of clubs don't have any. If not, they might have one.
You'd say one of them out of the 3 is O'Connor, who's just tagging. He's like, I'm going everywhere. Where Dunkley for Brisbane is a bit like Atkins. I'll go on the best player and I'll just beat you head-to-head and I'll get my 20 and you'll get 18 rather than letting him have 36 like McCluggage did the other day. So, yeah, there's the head-to-head guy in the midfield. So you're not necessarily on him all the time at the centre bounce, but you're not far away.
8 weeks ago, you sat in this studio and you talked about, would you rather be Geelong or would you rather be Brisbane? Because you mentioned Brisbane's really tough run, and they've had an incredible tough draw. And there was even a time where you thought Brisbane could be the one that miss.
I don't remember that, but
I do.
I do remember saying I would take Geelong's run any time of the week. I don't remember saying that.
We'll find it.
I think well,
But only based on
I do
their
remember
draw.
saying I'd rather Geelong's draw any day of the week because give me the easy run into the finals, knowing that we've been there, done that before, and it didn't work for Collingwood, did it? They didn't look healthy and fresh as much as maybe their age grabbed them. But Geelong's run, like they've got one non-available player, and that's Stewart, and Brisbane have got a banged-up unit. We've seen this before a little bit with, was it the Giants against Richmond, was it? In the 19 grand final, where the Giants just banged up during the week. So they fired all their bullets for the prelim. I just hope Brisbane haven't done that because they've been up. They won from 5th last year, so they've done it before, but winning 4 in a row is hard.
Okay, a couple of questions. Did Battle Barras backfire? Were they all chips in to win the flag this year, Hawthorn, do you think?
No, but it's bloody hard to get back. It's so hard now. Like you look at some of the teams who, look at West Coast and go, how far away are we from that? And then even when you make it, so Sydney made a grand final last year. And now it's like, how's Sydney going to get back to that? So being in a prelim, being close to a grand final, that's not guaranteed every year. So Hawthorn won a final last year, won 2 finals this year. I suppose their expectations is they finish top 4 next year, but that's bloody hard to get back to.
Weddle and the Wizard blanketed out of it, of course.
Learning for them though, Goss. But that never happened to them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have had that much attention. So Weddle was a masterstroke really because he's just got back into the team 2 weeks ago. And to get nullified like that, he had 2 possessions at half time.
Is that being out-coached? Did Chris Scott out-coach Sam Mitchell?
I don't know. No, not necessarily. But it was good use of your weapons. And Mitch doesn't have those levers to pull. And then sometimes you got to go through getting tagged like that to go, okay, next time I'll be different, especially if it's a big game. So, yeah, probably just took advantage of what they've got rather than out-coach.
So Stewart goes out. Reece Stanley, they say, was close. Blixarves has done a remarkable job with Stanley out in that sort of ruck midfielder role. He's doing that Luke Jackson role where you can ruck and just follow the ball. He's more of a midfielder.
He's been doing it for a few years.
That's right. So does he now, are they comfortable knowing that Stanley can come back and ruck and Blixarves can go back and fill in for Stewart?
I think so, yeah.
Is that the only obvious change?
Blixarves can second ruck from the back line. He's done that before. I mean, they had DeConing second ruck on the weekend. So, yeah, I think he can, the common sense, only because I heard Chris say if he's available, we'll play him. That's the only reason why, because I thought Stanley was a bit of a whipping boy. But when he said, he's important, if he's there, we'll play him. So
and next year.
Unless he gets back on his word, because it's just too obvious. But no, I think that's what happened.
Last one on this game. Why did I noticed Sam Mitchell didn't pull the ace and put Tom Barras forward?
I think we can put down now that was the only time Barras went forward was the quarter against West Coast. So we can put down why. The other thing too, he did throw everything. He put Watson down back, Ginnivan down back, Weddle in the ruck, Chol in the ruck, then go forward, Weddle come up. He did everything he possibly could. The only thing he didn't do was put Barras forward. So,
do you think Chol deserved 3 weeks for the tackle?
No, I don't, but only because the precedent sometimes it's when Pearce knocked out someone, Clark.
Yep.
Oh, I thought he's done. It's 3 weeks. It's the action doesn't matter if you meant it or not. It's 3 weeks because you've knocked someone out. So now, whenever someone gets knocked out, you get 3 weeks. Is sort of, but that started the chain of. Well, hang on, no, it wasn't. And I didn't.
Stuart was lurching forward at the time. Cholk tackled him. Stuart was already in a forward motion.
I said this on Saturday. He's not a crocodile. To grab someone that and do a death roll, it's impossible.
So what do? Don't tackle.
And you just copy 3 weeks until they change the rule. If it was a week, would you accept a week?
Yep.
Right. Well, I think
Max.
the common sense is to go, okay, let's just find some mutual ground here.
We're doing the coach's call thanks to Hungry Jacks. The burgers are better at Hungry Jacks. Let's turn our attention onto the Brisbane game against Collingwood. I want to play this. This was Craig McRae in the press conference. Have a listen.
Last quarter you lose Jeremy. How big a blow was that?
I thought you were going to ask me about the free kick, or the one we didn't get.
We're getting to that next.
Okay.
It looked like front on contact. What was your reaction?
No, it looked like that, yeah. Yeah, it did. No guarantee he kicks the goal though, is it? Like this is the world I live in. I never make excuses. I don't want our fans to see a coach that leads our group through excuses because it just doesn't get you anywhere. You know, I think losers make excuses. We don't. We're winners, and we didn't win today. Clearly beaten by a better team. I think they would have beaten us anyway, the way they were playing.
He didn't want to bring up that free kick, so he just spoke about it. It's a bloody tough, Capo, to do a press conference when you lose a prelim. So I can, and Mitch handled it his own way as well. So the emotions are so high, especially when you're probably favourites for that game and you're storming in that second quarter. The only thing I saw at the second quarter at halftime, I looked at the stats, and they'd kicked 8 goals, 1 goss to 4 goals, 6, something like that. So Brisbane had more scoring shots at halftime, and looking at the numbers, nothing was jumping off the page. So I remember thinking, okay, what is Fags going to talk about at halftime? I don't think it was, we've got to fix this, and this. It was like, they've taken their opportunities. We haven't. They've had their run on. What are we going to do about it? And I don't think it was a strategic. We didn't see any major moves, did we, after half time? It was just more the midfield stepped up. And I did say before the game, it's going to be Collingwood's front half pressure versus Brisbane's back half ball movement. And it's also going to be the Brisbane's mids versus Collingwood's mids. And Brisbane's mids are just better.
I don't want to shoot Bambi, but Scott Pendlebury's decision to play 4 minutes in when there was a conversation pre-game that he was feeling something.
Yeah.
Can you allow a player to make the decision? Because, this could be very much... If let's just say that's Will Hayes, the Perth boy who's playing, and they say or Rowan Steele, let's give it someone who's in the game, say, I've got a tight calf. Nah, you're out. But Pendlebury's allowed the licence, do you think? You do?
I think so, mate.
It's a bad call then, wasn't it?
Well, what's the difference? What would have happened if he had said, "Nah, I'm not playing"? What would have happened?
You have one player more, and you're down a rotation.
Who's emergencies?
Will Parker went out.
Right. So Steele comes on. Is this his name?
Yep.
Rowan Steele comes on. So he would have come on anyway, and they would have had an extra sub who's,
Yep.
Is that going to change the game?
Okay, so okay, good question.
Thank you.
That flips it around to this. Lachie Neale.
Yes.
So Lachie Neale says, I'm going to give it everything, and they say, we're going to play you. If he blows a calf at half-time, has that been successful?
I actually think having a sub allows you to take a chance.
That's where I'm going
because
with
you got
this. 4
on the bench anyway, and it's not like the depth of these teams at the moment are that strong that this guy's... So,
would you rather play Lachie Neale for a half or James Tunstall as a sub?
Yeah, I'd just go for Lachie. But who didn't get a game? McStay?
Yep.
So if he was emergency and he could have come in, not that it's a different player and you can move things around, you go, that's a conversation. But if it's Steele or whatever, I think you take the risk.
It's sapping though, isn't it? It's sapping for the group. Then your leader,
that's different.
legend that he is, sitting in the back of the box going, well, I'm done 4 minutes in. That's tough to watch.
That's tough to watch. But, it's a risk you probably take.
Chris Fagan was pretty happy with the performance.
Yeah, it's a pretty fair effort, isn't it, to get to 3 in a row. Collingwood looked like going to rip the game away from us in that second quarter. And at half-time, we were looking down the barrel a little bit, but the response was emphatic and really mature by the team. Mature by a team that's not very old. A lot of young guys out there playing. And in front of a big audience like that, most of them wearing black and white, I thought it showed a lot of mental strength. But I also thought we played really tough as well. So we showed a lot of physical courage as well. So just really wrapped with the performance.
8 players under 22 and 3 teenagers in that side. They're a different side to last year. Clearance, once again, and I've banged on this a little bit, so apologies, but if you can't get the game played in the front half in big games and finals, you're not going to win. So clearances, again, they were +9 at clearances. They've kicked 10 goals, 5 from stoppages to 5 goals, 3. So everyone talks about how sexy transition is and ball movement and all these type of things. Clearances give you field position and they give you score. So I take stoppage dominance over transition any day of the week. But that's just me. That's why I'm sitting here probably. Talking to you.
Would you play on that subject? Would you play Lachie Neale?
Yeah, I'd play him. Why not? Have a swing. I'd play Berry as well.
He's no chance, Berry.
Yes, he is. He's a big chance.
Really?
He needs a Rico. Just stick a needle in it and let me get out there.
But he's done this twice. He hasn't finished games in the last month.
I reckon you can pop it back in when there's nothing tomorrow.
Well, this is Jared Berry on his shoulder talking to Channel 7.
Yeah, no, it has. They said before the Hawthorn game that if it was a grand final, I'd play. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Might not even scan and just strap her up and go for it.
Well, that's exactly what you said. And this is Lachie Neale and his calf on Channel 7.
I think I've ticked every box so far that I've had to, and I think I'll just train as normal next week.
So is it more the speed stuff that you've got to test yourself out with?
I tested that today and it went really well. So, I'll probably just train as normal and hopefully Fags picks me.
So my last game, let me go back to me here. My last game ever, we played Carlton in a pretty irrelevant game. And I did my calf the day before, captain's run. So there's 2 parts to your calf. There's a soleus, which you can play with. It actually hurts when you're sprinting, it doesn't hurt. When you're jogging, it hurts. So you can almost play with that. That's soleus. If it's a gastroph, I don't know if that's the right word or not, but it's a gas something. That's the calf. That's the big one. That's the one that, I think he might have done. If he's done a soleus, he'll play. Absolutely. But I think he's popped his gastroph, which is when someone hits you, feels like someone's thrown a rock and hits you in the back of the calf. You can jab it. And I did that way back when, but I didn't play very well and we lost. So it wasn't a great example.
Did anyone mention it post-match? Said we shouldn't have played yet?
I think I shouldn't have played, but it was my last game. It wasn't really very, and I already got tickets for everyone.
All right. It's only Monday.
Yes. So
Neale plays. You think Berry plays?
Well, it's Tunstall. So it's the same question. Tunstall?
Yeah, he's a sub. He's emergency. He's one that was left out. Then the other one's Darragh Joyce. So Bruce Reville came on for Berry. So he'll be the sub again. He'll either be sub or play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So look, it's not going to be massive changes. None of these teams make massive changes.
No, you don't. Grand final week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask you then? So right now, if everyone, so let's just go. Stanley plays. Big Sabres goes down back.
Yep.
Lachie Neale comes back into the lineup, and Berry plays. Then someone has to go out, whoever that may be. Or maybe it is Reville. Who wins the game on a Monday? I know you haven't dissected it yet.
The head says Geelong and the heart says Brisbane. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to stick with Brisbane. But it could be one of those ones. It could be a classic. It could be a blowout halfway through the third quarter. Brisbane are just cooked. But we haven't seen, other than when they have a bad one every now and then. But yeah, it'll be.
Last year was a bad game. Remember?
No, I meant Brisbane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Can Brisbane actually man up again?
Gastronemius.
Yeah, gastro. Whatever it is.
Gastronemius. Anyway, hey, just a quick one. Thank you. That was thanks to Hungry Jacks, of course. Get your flame grilled favourites delivered or pre-ordered on the Hungry Jacks app. Now, a lot of you have been lining up our wonderful crew behind the scenes for their on this day. Let's just get some clarification here on Ronaldo. Ronaldo's birth date is widely celebrated on 2 dates. September 18, 1976. This is the date supported by the James Mosley biography, which claims to have accessed a lot of people. His mother states he was born on this day. And in September 22, 1976, this is the date listed on Ronaldo's birth certificate. So for those who are coming out of saying he's got 2 birthdays, you're right. He does have 2 birthdays.
Glad we cleared that up.
799 says, so Neale and Berry play, and they both go down early in the second half. So someone like Reville or Marshall, who were both really miss out. Bruce from Freo. Oh, that's grand final week, isn't it?
Well, we did it with McGovern. He shouldn't have played, but he did, and we won't win a flag without him. So it's just it's the risk that you take. When they come off, you're a hero. When they don't, you're a villain. So it's probably a 50-50 call, to be honest. I did hear Danny Daly say on the radio, we're not going to take too many risks. So it might be, do you sub someone? That's the question. The thing about calves, you can do 10 kilometres of high intensity. Once that muscle fatigues, the 11th kilometre you might pop it. So maybe it's like when you get 8 Ks out of Neil, and that means we start him as a sub.
A round of applause too, if we can. Thank you very much, linesman. Thanks to Nutrimate. Get some Nutrimate into your furry, mate. A round of applause to our breakfast show, who, again, through the podcast, don't forget, subscribe and download the SNWA Breakfast podcast, once again climbed another 3 spots in the Australian podcast rankings. While other podcasts rolled out of the top 300, we have advanced another 3 spots, which is our highest ever rating.
What are we? What is it?
I don't know what the rating is, but we're the number 1 radio show podcast catch-up out of Perth.
So
over any Triple M's.
We're in the 290s?
Novas, 250s, I think.
It sounds like a pretty...
There's a lot of podcasts in Australia.
What's it, 260?
No, there's the top 300. There's probably about 10,000, but they only rank the top 300. Duff's in the top 300 as well.
Oh,
Duff.
Everyone's doing it.
Yeah, no, Duff's been hard to beat.
Sounds pretty easy then.
Adam says it's called gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius. Anyway.
Gastroc. There you go.
There you go. In a moment, Between the Lines. In fact, we'll do Between the Lines right now if we can, Mr. Maestro.
Simo and Goss for breakfast. Between the Lines.
Duff can come in for Between the Lines if he so chooses. He's got a very busy show. We'll find out what Mark Duffield has got after 8 o'clock. So this is where, Simo, we listen to a grab from a coach after the game, and we find out exactly what the coach is meaning according to you. So here, how we go? We've got one from Fagan and one from Sam Mitchell. Who do you want to go first?
Let's do the... I don't care.
Fagan.
I don't care.
Fagan, please.
We've had a bit of a theme going all week. I know we beat them a few weeks ago, but we felt as a team that we couldn't sort of get any redemption for that loss in the 2023 grand final until we actually were able to beat Collingwood in a final. We've been talking about that a fair bit all week, and we talked about that again at half-time, and whether that helped the group do what they did, I'm not sure, but that was one of the themes all week. It wasn't meant in a derogatory way to Collingwood, it was just about us and how we felt about that grand final and how can we get a bit of redemption.
Yeah, so the themes, you got your big finals campaign theme, Goss, where it's, the America's Cup type of stuff, and that sits in the background. Then there's your week to week, and once you get to a prelim, we spoke about this last week. How do you make it personal? What can I leave? What is my levers? And pretty easy for Brisbane.
You went with this. I read, and Duff, you're in the studio right now. I read an article penned by.
I told you about this, so.
So I read an article inside the Herald Sun that you said that this is what he would be doing this week. Duff, do you remember this article?
I do remember that article.
How do you remember this article?
It was a very fine article.
Can we just... Anyway, I actually brought this up before in production this morning, so it's me glazing myself a little bit, but there is themes you come up with. So this week will be interesting because it's probably the themes are gone. You go back to your big original one and there'll be a prop somewhere in the rooms before the game, and not that Chris does that, but Chris Scott, that is. But Fagan will. He definitely have something that they had that we'll read about if they have a win, or we'll never read about if they have a loss.
I'm going to get this next one is from Sam Mitchell, Between the Lines. I want to get Duff's perspective as a seasoned journo sitting in a press conference after a coach has lost a preliminary final. Have a listen.
There's obviously a lot of talk moving from the end of round 24 to before the grand. Any thoughts on that?
You can ask me another day. I don't care right now. So I don't mean. My mental capacities of dealing with what I'm dealing with right now. That I don't give a shit. Sorry.
Got a premiership tip?
No. I hope they all lose.
Duff, now you're sitting in a press conference. The story is on Tom Stewart asking for an opinion. Would you have asked the question?
I might have asked the question, but I probably would have been half expecting the answer I got. He's a fierce competitor. He clearly doesn't like losing, which coaches don't. And some they react differently. And clearly he struggles with.
Would you have asked? Would you have expected the question? Would you have answered it?
I would have said the same thing. Yeah, I'm probably thinking more about Mitch and like Some people can hide it more than others. I think Fly hates losing as much as Sam Mitchell, and he'll say some side sort of angle remarks. But and I'm the it's the.
Craig McRae's a really bad loser, mate.
I think
from
we're
an
all
outside
bad.
looking in. I think he's one of the best.
You can be classy, but I think I've seen Sam at his worst. The training drills, cheating in training drills or finding the line where whatever it takes to win, bending the rules as much as you can. I actually don't mind it.
Yeah, I preferred Sam Mitchell's response post-match to the way McRae spoke post-match. Craig McRae, we don't make excuses, but here's an excuse I'm not going to talk about for the next 30 seconds. That's.
I thought you were going to tell me about the free kick, the one we didn't get.
Yeah, well, I thought it was a free kick.
Yeah.
But I also thought...
It's funny that he brought it up.
I also thought it's a 25-shot to 16-shot preliminary final. They win by 29 points.
He did say that, though.
There's a free kick to Levi Ashcroft in the second quarter that he doesn't get, which becomes a free kick to Lockie Schultz 5 seconds later, which was there. There's a 100-metre, 50-metre penalty in there. And there was also a 50-metre penalty that I thought Rayner should have got when Braden Maynard did the Braden Maynard post-mark thing that he does, where he kind of like bulldozes them into the ground. And I thought that could easily have been 50. That would have taken Rayner to the line. He missed the shot. So if you're going to add them up, you've got to add them all up.
Who you got coming up after 8 o'clock?
Going to talk to Scotty Waters. We're going to talk to him about, obviously, the 2 grand finalists and who he thinks is going to win, who he thinks is going to win the Brownlow, who he thinks will win the Rising Star. Mm-hmm. We'll do a bit of basketball with Craig O'Donoghue.
Yes. Wow.
We'll also talk a bit about the Waffle Grand Final and the ending to it. Obviously, I heard Dean's comments, which I think is right, and I think there is a precedent. So there's an AFL precedent. Chad Warner game against Richmond.
I heard that.
Chad Warner
had a text.
Kicked the ball away.
Yeah. Okay. Big show coming up for you. And just quickly, who is going to win the Brownlow?
I like Jordan Dawson. I don't think Jordan Dawson will lose votes to many. I think the other great player at Adelaide, or the other great players are Rankin and Thilthorpe. Thilthorpe won't get votes, I don't think. So I think Jordan Dawson from Dacos I'll go McCluggage third.
Nice work by you. Well, there is a Brownlow going to Brisbane.
And Murphy Reid is the Rising Star.
Yeah, 100% agree. Good on you, Duff. All righty. We're going to take a break and come back. That is Between the Lines, of course. We do that for double demerits from midnight Thursday until midnight Monday for drink and drug driving.